What's happening?
What's going on with you, man? How you doing?
You sound a little hoarse, man. You been doing some extra hooping today?
Man, listen, Doc.
Little extra up in there? Woo. Listen, put me in A flat. Never mind, that's too high. Put me in F. Never mind, that's not my key.
Put me in Z sharp.
Put me in Z sharp.
F major.
F major. Welcome to Religiously Incorrect Podcast. You know what's happening. This is our Sunday night service. Only 3 minutes late this time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You know, what's happening, man?
Man, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man.
You looking good, man? Everything was well?
Everything went well, man. Had some time away from the church, man. Hate to be away from that.
Absolutely.
You know, I realize I really do love preaching in my church more than anywhere else.
It is the best, man.
But duty calls sometimes.
Sometimes you got to go where you got to go.
Well, our show is
brought to you by the African American Community Fund. The African American Community Fund, established in 2020 at the Foundation for Appalachian, Ohio, supports Black-led and Black-serving organizations throughout the 32 counties of Appalachian, Ohio, to elevate the quality of life and address disparities in African American communities. Check them out at www.appalachian.org or call them at 740-753-1111. And we are so proud to announce that our man,
Mr. Ernest Bynum.
Mr. Ernest Bynum will be here in town this week.
Oh, what? I got to get that information to make sure I'm there.
Yeah. He will be here in town this week. He will be downtown at the Historical Center.
Yes.
I will be down there to check
in downtown Youngstown, to be clear.
Youngstown, excuse me. Yes, sir. So I'm going down there. I'm going down there with a full grant in hand.
Listen, a whole application.
Got all kind of applications. I'm trying to get the church a whole new pastoral wing.
Listen, I'm trying to give my kids some food. It's called the Feed the Babies grant. No, yeah, we want to see everybody out. Come out. He'll be a guest speaker at an event down at the Historical Center in downtown Youngstown. And we love Mr. Bynum. Great brother. Great mind.
Yes, he is. Phenomenal.
Great mind. Good to see you, Rashad, man. Love you, brother. What's happening, Sister KK? I missed you, too. Hey, Robinsons, God bless you. Give it up to the ministry staff and the music
Carter.
staff at Second Baptist holding it down in my absence. Did a phenomenal job. Dr. Wilkins I gave a great word. I was able to tune in on a bit of it, check it out. I try not to watch services when I'm not there. Mm-hmm. Try to let the church be the church,
right,
you know.
Right.
But they always do a phenomenal job in my absence, so I'm really grateful for them. And I had a chance to preach down in Braddock, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh, a little borough of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Our dear friend and brother, Reverend Dr. Richard Wingfield, the renowned Reverend Dr. Richard Wingfield. They brought his, they kept saying that when they were speaking of their own pastor. You know, it was their church anniversary. And the church anniversary of Unity Baptist Church in Braddock, which is called Unity because it is literally the epitome of the unified church. Two churches coming together to make one church 21 years ago. And the story behind that it was a one church situation in their first 8 years of existence. And then they had a division, as occurs many times in the church. And they split into two separate churches and came back together 80 years later.
Wow.
In 2003. And in 2004, the renowned Reverend Dr. Richard W. Wingfield was elected as the first pastor of that united, which is called the Unity Baptist Church. And they are celebrating their 21st anniversary as a united fellowship.
So they could have been the test tube baby for what started Religiously Incorrect.
Listen, because we started
talking
about churches coming together. Almost got burned at the stake for it. And here it is. There's an example. Right. I mean, I couldn't get my hair cut for about 6 months. It was bad, y'all. It was bad. But big shout out to the church family of Unity. Big shout out to Brother Mike. who I always say game changers, Mike, who made sure I got down there back and got there down there and back safely, and was looking out for me. You know, I did not know Brother Wingfield had a super praiser in the church. We had to make sure we were good. I love to see a praiser. I love to see a praiser, but I did have to ask Brother Wingfield, is he coming up when I preach? Because I need to know. I need to be prepared for this.
Right.
And then I joked and said, if I didn't know y'all, he'd be a meme of the week. You know, I'm just telling y'all. But it was phenomenal love and fellowship in the church. Delicious dinner. Wonderful, people at Unity Baptist. Got to meet the mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania. Wonderful sister. Beautiful black sister. I got to give greetings on behalf of Warren. So it was a good time, man. It was a good time. Great. In other news this weekend, I got to give props to my man, Pastor Jeff and Team Black.
Hold it down.
Prevailed at the first annual Warren G. Harding alumni basketball
Coach
game.
Jackson, that's what they call me, Philip.
Coach.
Philip Jackson, baby.
Phil Jackson.
You know what I mean?
Lord have mercy. Over here doing
Jedi mind
over here doing Buddhist meditations in the middle of the court. You had Dennis Rodman out there. Now I had Rodman on my team. But Team Gold was vanquished. It was a great atmosphere, great game, great event.
And we do have to give it up to
Shout
Sister
out,
Mariah.
Sister Mo.
She done a phenomenal job. I mean, it was just amazing to see so many people come out to such a positive event,
Oh, yeah.
No fights.
I didn't have to fight nobody.
No.
I had brass knuckles and everything, man. I was ready. I had that thing in the car, you know what I'm saying, in case it jump off.
I mean,
I was ready.
When you can pack out that basketball, and that would, first of all, that is a beautiful court, y'all.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
That is a beautiful, I mean.
Hey, we can't read, man, but we going to have some sports facilities, man. I mean,
my goodness. I walked in there, and I mean, I'm from Youngstown, so our school,
Oh, bruh, y'all playing on gravel indoors.
Hey, we got the one room in the back where you can watch it off the TV.
You got the overflow.
The overflow room.
And it's one of them old Sony Trinitrons hanging from the ceiling.
I said, all kind of banners hanging up.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, y'all got the chain link nets inside.
I mean, you know it's bad when you still got the basketball hoops on the side.
On the side, yeah, man.
That's like the T-cap joints.
The T-cap joints. Listen.
Hey, it was nice, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, man. It was nice, man. Y'all got outhouses on the inside. Y'all got porta potties on the inside.
I don't know. Let me stop.
Y'all got brand new schools, man.
I have not been to the New East yet. I have not been inside.
I only went to the middle school. It's very nice. I've only been to the middle school. Well, East is the bomb. I didn't get a chance to go in the gym. They didn't let me in there because they know I can't play. They were like, you stay over there in the music room where you belong.
Hey, we were supposed to have a game at halftime, and everybody ran to the bathroom.
Jeff chickened out.
They was all scared.
I was out in the middle of the court with my ball, with my Converse on.
Listen, I had some breakaway jogging pants. I was ready to go out there and just pull them off.
I had on my booty tight shorts from the 1970s.
With the high socks in the truck.
I had them high socks with the stripes. My headband. I was ready. Jeff chickened out, man. No, I mean, hey, but here's the funny thing about the game, man. These cats that graduated, some of them been out of school 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. Bruh. You'd have thought they was playing for the ship.
Man, they was hype.
Pride is something else, man.
Boy, I mean, over bragging rights.
Bragging rights is sometimes way more.
They was serious. I mean, I'm trying to, just be there, but they like,
oh, man.
They was going
Bruh, I said, I'm glad I'm an honorary coach because, and my man, I want to give a shout out to my man, Tyreek, man. We got into it. We got it. Like, first he was getting with Greg. Coach Greg is getting on because we pulled him out the game. We got into it. And that's what you get, Scott. We're here. And so, I had a few words with him myself. I'm like, bro, man, this ain't the vibe, man. It's just charity, man. He was like, no, man, I compete to win. Man. He didn't cuss at me and nothing like that. He was respectful. He was heated. It was so funny. And then I was like, man, nobody getting paid off this. Ain't no money on this. He was like, I got money on this. I just turned around. I was like, never mind then. Go on ahead. Go on ahead, bro. But hey, he actually posted up on Facebook afterwards, was like, hey man, I want to apologize, Mr. Johnson, man. He said, I knew it was over when I was arguing with the pastor. My bad, Mr. Johnson. I said, it's all love, man. But you know what? It's good to see that passion and that competition over something good, you know. And it's good to see that fire in our young men. It's like they care about those things.
Some of them cats really still had it, man.
But I wanted to sign them. I wanted to sign some of them. Gabe was cooking. You know, Gabe is Ethan's trainer, so now that explains a lot for those that don't know.
He do all that training.
He trains, man.
I said, I'm calling him.
You got to get in line behind Ethan, man. No, for me.
I'm calling for me. I forget Christian. I'm calling for me.
Jeff tried to fix his pastoral crossover. But no, big shout out to everybody involved. The school stepped up, supported Coach Arnold, you know, all the you know, it was very professionally done, using all the resources, but definitely again.
And the scholarships.
And the scholarships, we passed out 2 $500 scholarships. We can't wait to see more. Man, as soon as I got back in the car, just opened up Facebook, just looked at it, I saw the next flyer.
Already.
The alumni football game.
Yeah.
I called Mariah and said, you trying to kill the Negroes?
Flag football, right?
I hope so.
It's flag.
Yeah,
It's flag. It's
Because listen, I hope so, because it's gonna be some scores settled. And there might still be.
Maurice Claret already signed. Maurice on the scene.
Right.
It's gonna be some pool to have.
Paul Warfield.
Paul Warfield be out there. It'll be like that NFL commercial where they all out there chasing the ball in the banquet, falling over each other. But it was well done, great for the city. You know, and I told Mo, I want to just say what I said. You know, this is her first major, giant, large event. And I know that feeling. You know, you're known, but in this space, you're not known. Right. And sometimes people treat you a little funny because they don't know what you're capable of. And to be fair, and I asked her to be fair, sometimes she has to understand that people, and I know this for a fact as a pastor and a council person and, having some influence in the city, that lots of people come with ideas.
Yeah.
And some people are standoffish about working with folks because they don't know where it's going and they don't know who's about what, and sometimes the schools get involved, the city get involved with somebody, and then it's like real haywire. Right. So she proved her mettle and that, what she's about, where her heart is, her excellence, what she did. And so, hey, big shout out.
And I really don't think that the first place she had it at would have held everybody.
Oh, no.
It would not have held everybody.
They were going to do it at the middle school. Nah, man. Nah. There would have been some fights there. If they would have had it in that middle school, everybody on top of each other, there would have been some fights.
Hey, the one thing I will say is at the end, they done church like a mug. They turned off them lights.
But listen.
It's like, y'all got to go.
You ain't got to go home.
You got to
get out of here. Get out of here. And they was flicking all the lights. Like, I don't even know my way around. What you doing, bro?
They said like 3 times. They're like, okay, everybody got to go.
All right, y'all.
Everybody got to go. One more time. It's like click, 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 click.
All of them. It's playing God Be With You. Well, big shout out. It was a beautiful day. Great things going on. I didn't ask you how was service at Steubenville Second Baptist.
Phenomenal, man.
That's
great.
Wonderful.
I was absolutely honored to have Pastor. Lord, now I can't think of his name.
Wasn't Ellis?
No. He came from, and I put him on.
I need to look up your page just to tell you who it is.
Put him on there.
Mason,
yes, Reverend Mason.
I was looking at Willis, your cousin.
Mason and his wife came down, and he pastored down there for several years as well.
Okay.
And he was at my first installation of Beulah, and he came. And he gave, we talked afterwards, and he gave me some beautiful words of wisdom. Him and his wife, and it was great to see them. He said he couldn't make the installation, but he made sure he wanted to come down there and just talk.
All preachers get the same advice. They all give the exact same line. If you ask a preacher when you become a pastor,
especially the old school
ones, this is what they say: just love the people.
Listen,
they all give the exact same advice. Just love the people. Don't try to change too much. Get to know them. Just love the people.
Just love the people.
Love the sheep.
If you love the people,
right.
They'll love you back.
They'll love you back. They'll let you change what you know. You got to love the people. I loved it, though. That's hilarious. Good, man. Glad to hear. Yes, glad to hear. It's always good. Well, hey, y'all, we started on time, so you better get the Sunday service on time. We already ready for testimony service.
Let's go.
It's time for Meme of the Week.
Because it's Meme of the Week. Meme of the week.
Welcome to Religiously Incorrect, ladies and gentlemen.
Meme of the week. Meme of the week.
Thank you. Send us your memes of the week.
Meme of the week. Meme of the week.
We are, these are all jokes. We are just playing.
So this is another picture meme, and between the phenomenal hospitality that we experienced last week at Pastor Jeff's installation, the 2nd Baptist of Steubenville Culinary Committee, and then tonight and today at Unity Baptist in Braddock, we were fed again. I was inspired. This meme inspired me because this is the faithful servant in the kitchen committee, the faithful servant, Big Mike. Ma'am, do you serve crackers? Honey, we serve everybody.
Everybody.
This, and I can see our members serving chicken. Talk about crackers, we serve all y'all.
You, your mama,
We love you.
me, and you, your mama, and your dogs, and two.
I'm saved. I don't know these songs. That just made me chuckle when I saw that. It wasn't very deep, but I just said, and I do have something to bounce off of that. First of all, church folk can cook.
They can cook. They can throw down.
They can throw down.
They can throw down.
They can throw down.
Scott said, I don't get it.
Hey, just visit one of our churches, Scott. You'll get it.
Come on, Scott. Come on down, Doc.
Come on down, brother.
Hey, we had pork chops.
Man.
I mean, they done it right, man.
But I must admit, I am waiting for a church to change it up.
Like,
I'm waiting for somebody to change it up. I'm waiting. First of all, no disrespect, Dr. Wingfield, but it was Cinco de Mayo. y'all could have did a taco bar, some fajitas, But I'm waiting on somebody to change it up. Like, what if you just went downstairs after a church anniversary and they were down there serving like burritos or something?
Walking tacos.
Pete,
Everybody gonna leave.
Everybody gonna leave.
That's
I don't
exactly
think
what's
so,
gonna happen.
man. I don't think
You don't
so.
think so?
You don't think so? I
The
don't
old
know.
saints will leave. The old saints will leave.
I don't think they would either.
Old saints come to church.
They want
that
that.
chicken, green
Greens.
beans, that roll.
Yeah, that rope solid.
They don't care that roll is the same roll they can get out the plastic package of Giant Eagle. Once you put it on a plate downstairs in a church basement,
It gotta be some mac and cheese.
there's
there.
like a different seasoning. She said that was the after party. They waited for me to leave. Now, see, we done got 2 testimonies. Grove said all of them can't. And Brother Carroll said that now all of them, y'all know some church folks should only bring paper plates to the anniversary dinner.
Facts.
Listen, hey, you bring the water, sis. Sis, we need you to bring the paper towels.
Absolutely.
Hey, can you bring ice?
Bring bread.
If you get asked to bring
Bread.
ice,
Just a loaf of bread. Just
if they ask you to bring ice, that's your signal. That's your signal. But I mean, what custom or unique meal would you not mind?
well, for me, I told them they's like, "What's your favorite food?" I was like, "Pork chops." So
Okay.
nobody. I don't recall pork chops being served anywhere else.
I've never had I don't think I've ever seen pork chops.
But I tell you what, it's just something about the Kool-Aid or the juice that they make, the punches that they make.
it's called sugar, Jeff. It's called way too much sugar.
Way too much.
That's the something.
The punches,
Yeah.
they slamming.
It's called diabetes in a cup. That's what it's called. That was like that drink they were selling at Panera, or was it a Panera, or was it Starbucks that was like killing people? It was like Shock energy drink. They over here serving Red Bull.
Hey, some of them be having ice cream in their joint.
My Uncle Jeff Bruton is the king of the church punch.
That church punch is slamming.
They will put you under a table.
Yes, sir.
What they need to start doing is serving the church punch on the way into church. That's what they need to do. They need to start serving church punch on the way into church. Because you want some folk to shout?
You gonna shout after that.
They be in there having the jitters, boy. Yes. Oh, listen. See, this is another cultural thing. Oh, but we're way ahead of you. Black folk will make a plate and ask for a to-go plate at the same time before anybody else is eating.
But we've gotten to the point that we know, and because we don't want to leave that food in the church.
Right.
So we have to-go plates there.
Well, and then some folk hide food.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They hide the good mac and cheese from other people.
And here's something that some of y'all may not or may not know.
Wait a minute. He said, I tried a salad buffet for a women's event, but nobody thought about a cooling table. So that warm crab, potato, and chicken. Grove over here calling out churches. One time in Mount Zion, they didn't dilute it. They just put the concentrate right in the...
Straight red sugar, huh?
Whole church in the hospital.
Here's something y'all might not know.
Well, we don't
Some
know.
of y'all might not know. A lot of y'all... They have at least 13. What's Grover is sick.
Oh, goodness. The show is over. This show is over.
Good night, y'all.
Nice. Oh, goodness. I'm done. Now I gotta have a kitchen committee show so they can defend their honor. Oh man,
Called y'all thieves. Oh my God.
but for real, we are missing some punch bowls at the church.
Ain't no spoons.
No
Just spoons and
spoons.
forks. We bought a whole set of good Chinese
Where's
knives.
all the knives at?
We're all the good silverware.
Every Thanksgiving, somebody take a different knife.
Why we ain't got no chairs left in the basement? Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm done.
But okay.
I am done.
We should do the whole show about church meals. Did the whole show about church meals. Oh man, I appreciate it, Grove. I needed that, man. I have tears in my eyes, straight tears. But I mean, I wouldn't mind something different. I wouldn't mind something different. Fish, like
Fish
You
don't
know me,
hold
man.
well. I mean, you
you got to eat it right away.
you got to, and that's the bad thing. You got to wait for it, and you want it right away, and
Well,
people don't want to cook while it's going on.
I'm the preacher, so y'all got to wait for it because I'm getting mine first.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say.
Which is-
we get they give us 13 boxes to go. Just Pastor, we got some stuff set up for you in the back.
Straight in the trunk. You know how many times that people, if you force food on me, it's going in my trunk, and it's going somewhere else after that. Don't if
tell
I
him
say I
that,
don't
man.
eat much, I say I'm warning you now. I don't eat much, and I don't eat a lot of church food. I don't eat church menu food a whole lot. I don't. So if I stay and actually eat and sit down, I really want to be with you, and I love you.
right.
I really do, because I don't hang around. I'm not big on chicken and green beans. That's just not my thing, to be honest. So if you force a bunch of boxes on me, I'm gonna say thank you very much. It's going in my trunk. I hope I remember it 2 days later.
Yeah, you gonna remember when to smell it.
Smell it.
You gonna remember it when you smell it.
Oh man, and you would know, Sister Jeanette, because you was on our kitchen committee at Agape. She said you was taking them plates too. But they know that you're right. It'll all be gone once they start serving the food. You're right. It'll all be gone, so they got to take care of it. But that's, will you say something?
Yeah, the worst though is when you go to a church out of town, an hour, 2 hours away, then you got to eat that food and then drive home.
And then drive home.
That's
because that's sleepy.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. You almost killed us.
It's all good.
It's fun. See, walking out of the church smelling like Jonah. This is a whole show. This is a whole show. Well, I'll tell you what, man. You know, we that's why I got into the ministry in the first place. This is exactly why I said yes to Jesus.
It's absolutely.
Because I got tired of waiting at the church dinners.
Remember
I
at
wanted to eat
Agape,
first.
we had the men's fellowship at my house, and we cooked all that fish.
Yes.
And then we had the Father's Day fish fry.
Yes.
We cooked so much fish, man.
And we had boxes and boxes left over.
We had fish for days.
We had bad. We were swimming. We were finding Nemo. All right, y'all. Leave of the week is over. I'm not talking no more about food. Grover has dishonored the entire kitchen committee. And now I got to get up and
They're
repent.
on trial.
I got to get up and issue a public apology at the next church service. But let's thank our sponsors for supporting us, the Phillips Family Care of Businesses. You already know what it is. It rained today. That means your grass is going to grow tomorrow. Call Phillips Care to take care of it for you. Don't break your back or have to pay for more repairs or beg your lazy child to do it. Call Phillips Care, 330-219-7916. That is correct. I got into the ministry so I could eat first. That is absolutely correct. That's what it's all about. I really don't care about none of y'all. I just want the big piece of chicken. All right? The secret is out. While we're thinking Phillips Care, Phillips Care Cleaning Service, residential and commercial, indoor, outdoor, move in, move out, carpet upholstery, wood floor. Call my man Fernando and look him up on Facebook at Phillips Care LLC. My man.
I don't even know what.
Action.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about how they be trying to rush you downstairs so they can eat. You trying to talk to the people and they like get downstairs.
Oh, get downstairs.
We can't start eating till you get downstairs.
Forget these
folks. We are brought to you by Action, the Alliance of Congregational Transformation, influencing our neighborhoods. Listen, tomorrow is our next clergy breakfast.
Yes,
held over at Grace Evangel with Bishop Carruthers Jenkins tomorrow at 9:30. Listen, we already are over capacity, but Elder Carter said we ain't turning nobody away. So if you are a faith leader, especially if you are a pastor and you want to know more about organizing cohorts, clergy, all of those things and all the capacities that we do, please come out tomorrow morning at 9:30. We will have Father Rujak, and we will talk about core teams and things of that nature. So we'd love to see you there tomorrow morning.
What's up, Pastor Kid? Good to see you.
Yeah, Pastor
you
Kid.
have popped in at just the right time. You came at the opportune time. Tonight, we're talking for the second half of our show about gimmick giving. Gimmick giving. Now, I wanted to structure the conversation a little bit because I wanted to let you know what we're talking about and what the context of it is. All right? Gimmick giving. Stop, Mike. You did turn Sister White into Della Reese. This is all going bad. This is all going down. I'm going to go ahead and update my resume.
Now I'm going to have to shoot you.
Nah, I got to shoot you. Come on, quick. Come on. and you know what's right? Grover is the quick of the church. Grover is the quick of Second Baptist. And I'm sure he's been challenged to more than one fight. I'm sure of it. Hey, Sister Rosalind. We're calling this gimmick giving. And here's why. You know, there has been a steady increase of large, extravagant gifts and giving efforts on behalf of churches, which, you know, there's a very interesting dynamic here because it's often, and we're not talking about the prayer clause thing, but I do want to get into that in a little bit. I want to talk about the big ticket giving.
Yeah.
Churches giving away cars, houses. You know, I mean, I've seen some. I just saw one, and I didn't know how I felt about it because it was a preacher that I loved, where somebody was called up, and the pastor gave them $100 for being faithful, or I think they might have admitted to having a need, and it felt. I watched it before. I've actually been at a service where it happened, and it was amazing to watch it happen. But after like the 10th time, I felt like, I don't know how I feel about this. Because what he did was, the brother raised his hand and said, yeah, and the guy was like, thank you for being vulnerable, thank you for sharing, and he gave him $100. And the brother walks away and he says, oh, come back. Gave him $100. Brother walks away. Come back. He did that like 7-8 times. Mm-hmm. And I get it because it's supposed to like build up this, oh, it's amazing. It is. I don't know how the brother felt like, brother, if you got $1,000, if you give me $1,000, give me $1,000. Like, what are we doing here? And then it did turn into, I think, a church-wide thing where other people.
Everybody starts coming up and giving.
But I just felt like the routine of it. People gonna be asking, what churches are these? I need to be there. I just started to think about the routine behind it. That's what got my wheels turning. And I started to ask myself about other things that I had seen where you call a single mother up on stage and talk about how she has a bunch of children, been riding the bus to church, and you say, look outside, we have something for you, or here are the keys to your new car, or, different things. And I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to be a part of that gimmick. And so part of me loves it.
Well, and that's really what I want to say, is that I think the gimmick part, and it is, it's really gimmicky.
Well, I
think those who benefit from it may see it a little bit differently. I think, especially if you are the one riding the bus every.
Oh, they definitely appreciate it. I would appreciate it. I'm sure. And I'm speaking from a perspective of a person that never has and may never be that person who would ever be in somebody's audience and have need of that type of blessing. So I'm trying to approach this carefully. I think it's amazing that the church has capacity to do this, the mind to do it. And I want to define what makes it gimmicky, I guess. And I think the way it's done can sometimes make it gimmicky.
Yeah.
And it could make it exploitative.
Well, I think, like you said, we've already seen this done. We know it's been done. This is not something that, came straight from the heart, straight from the, this is something you've seen done and you duplicated it.
But maybe it came from the heart, but they duplicated it.
You duplicated
But duplicated, that's what I'm saying, the routine of it.
Right.
So my heart's desire is to bless somebody, right heart. But I obviously saw how somebody else did it. And now I'm doing it the way they did it. Mm-hmm. Which kind of brings to mind other forms of duplication where you're like, should you try to sing that song like Donnie, or should you try to preach like T.D. Jakes? Like, should you take, like, is it almost like ripping somebody off? Like if you've seen somebody do something, again, it's not the content, it's the presentation. Everybody can preach the same text, but Absolutely. If I'm literally taking your notes.
Absolutely.
But
I mean, to some extent, if you run a 4-3 defense and you run it well, you know what I mean? Will it work for me just as well as it worked for you? I'm not talking about sermons and taking somebody's exact notes, I'm talking about on the gimmick giving, on this giving type thing. Well, if it worked and somebody's being blessed.
Well, that brings to mind, what is the definition of does it work? Like, is the goal to bless people? Mm-hmm. I guess my question is, and Pierre just asked it, does it have to be in this manner where it's displayed before the whole church? Mm-hmm. And let's just be real clear here. And it's almost always very slickly produced and Absolutely. Planned for maximum emotional impact, a la a TV show or a talk show that surprises people in need. Ellen finding out that somebody, some family, we've seen these a million times. That hardworking single father who's walks to work and has 6 kids, and so Oprah brings him on and does this, that, and the other. Does it have to be for show? But let's put that against. It's going to be a difficult conversation because does the show take away from the blessing?
Well, let me ask you, because I know, and I've been part, and I've helped you, and I want to do something down here in Steubenville, probably just like you do, what you call the big give.
Right.
Correct? And so it's not a show. It's obviously not a show for you. You don't have
Right.
any cameras. You're not out there. But at some point, somebody is writing on Facebook, Pastor Todd is at Giant Eagle giving away $100 gift certificates. You know, let me ask you, first of all, by you doing, because you've done that for how many years?
We did it for like 3 years.
3 years. And you've given away
Like $15,000.
$15,000 to people.
Yeah.
How many members or how many people do you think, and I know you're not doing it to get members, but how many people do you think came to second based upon you giving a gift certificate out?
Probably none directly. I think what it does do is it creates an indirect like reputation builder.
Right.
You become known as that person who did something that others have not done, or or it's been done, but you're the one doing it now. So you're the one people remember, like somebody who did this 10 years ago, but they're not around no more. You know, this is the guy.
See, and I know that about you because I know your character. But then there are other places that are giving away tanks of gas. And I think they're doing it in hopes.
Well, that's something I've always told people. Do not try to build a ministry off of giveaways.
Exactly.
That
That's where
cannot
I'm
be
going.
any kind of outreach. I talked to a pastor years and years ago, and he had seen a lot of things we were doing at Agape at the time, a lot of outreach. And he was sort of complaining. I've done the hot dogs. I went out into the community. These folk ain't coming in here. And he was like bittered
Right.
about the fact that they had invested some money, you know.
Don't nobody want your hot dogs.
Well,
Just playing.
I just told him, like, you got to know the difference between outreach and evangelism. They're not the same.
Right.
Outreach is good work for the sake of good work. You're not looking for a result that will benefit your church. You're not looking for a return, you know. And by the way, a part of that is bad theology all around. Because we have really pushed to our people and to ourselves that one of the primary focuses of giving is getting something because you gave.
Right.
And we constantly testify about how when I went that extra mile and gave $100, I went home and there was a card in the box for $100 and God replenished my $100. And the whole point of giving and sacrificing is not so you can get it back.
Right.
That's not the point. But we
Right.
keep saying that. And then I think the church and leadership internalizes that the more I give out, the more I'm supposed to gain in ministry success. People are supposed to like me. They're supposed to see that I'm a giver and all of that kind of
Well,
stuff.
it's one of the reasons they use this, give and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. And they're taking things out of context.
What if I told you that text wasn't even about money?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're taking it out of context.
What if I told you that text is not even though every person, see, I just blew up a couple people's minds. We've been saying that at offering forever.
Forever.
And it's not even about money. Read it again and read a few scriptures before that. He was not talking about money. Give
I remember
mercy.
you preached it. Yeah, I remember
Give
you
mercy.
preached it a long time ago.
Give grace. Forgive people. Treat folk right. That'll come back to you. You know, and this 30, 60, 100-fold stuff, once again, you know, we go off. But I'm saying, once you develop that theology, you start thinking that everything you pour out is supposed to bring the return. And then, on top of that, you dictate the type of return you should be getting. So the return is more members, more, you know, attention. And be clear, I believe it is perfectly fair, especially if your attempt is to bless your community. Let's say it's a generality, like
Right.
we have groceries to give away to our community, or we have a need to meet. You obviously want people to receive what you have, and they won't know about it if you don't tell them. Nothing wrong with telling people this resource is available. We want to bless people with turkeys. We know people might need things. I think when you get into things where I'm doing what nobody else can do, and I'm doing it because it's such a big ticket item, I can only do it for certain people.
Right.
Now I've got to pick the person. You mean to tell me that if I bless a single mother, got my eye on a person, and I'm in a church of it, obviously it's got to be usually larger churches that do this.
Yes.
Who's to say there aren't 10 other struggling single mothers who are faithful to the church, and maybe you don't know how faithful they are? They might not be your top usher. They might not be your parking lot attendant. They might not be, but they might be tithing extravagantly in ways that their faith is really there. They're working hard. They're working in power. And I believe some are happy. I believe some others might be like, well, who gets to choose and pick? And I know what we're going to say. God showed me who to give to. But I worry about what that can lead to, because like we said, we're starting to see, like many things happen in the church, a copycat thing where it's almost done like exactly like the other person did it. Exactly. Like, we're going to call you on stage, cue the shout music, and it's being broadcast all over. So I guess the tension I want to talk about is the world loves it. We might be the first people to get on here and maybe really make a public critique. I don't want to say I'm criticizing. I'm just saying critically thinking about it. And for those of you watching, I'm not here to say I think it's right or wrong. I'm saying that everything deserves critical thought.
Well, I even think when you're talking about critical thought, when you have a pastor, especially a prominent pastor, who may have a little bit more money than most of the average members, who gets up and says, I'm going to start this offering off with $500. Well, you have $500. It's easy to start it off with $500. When somebody else, the little $50 that they going to give is really a struggle for them to give.
Including other clergy.
Absolutely.
Because we've been in that. Pastor Holbrook just mentioned that, challenging other people to come to, and we've been there. We've lived there. Come on, we've lived there. People, I'm giving this much. I'm giving that much. All y'all give the same. And Lord knows, a whole bunch of them folk did not really have that $100. They went in the back and asked for it back. Went in the back and asked for it back. Like you said, everybody can't do the same.
Right.
And it's funny because we're telling the people that everybody can't do the same. Give as you can. Give according to your tenth, your tithe, your offering, your this. But we're modeling something different. Sometimes we're modeling and broadcasting what we can do, saying that because I'm here. Now, I bet, and if let's say I'm the guy with the 10,000 member church and I can give away a car or a house. Let's say I'm that guy. I bet I would think it were uncouth and inappropriate of one of my members of standing up in the middle of offering time and saying, because I'm a millionaire, I'm giving $10,000 today. Because that's what we'll say.
Absolutely.
We're big enough. We got the capacity. And I know some people will even say graciously, we know other churches can't do this, but this is what we do because God has blessed us. What I'm saying is, if I'm modeling that as a pastor in a church, what would it look like if I had members who did the exact same thing? I know everybody in here ain't got what I got, but because I do, let me tell you what I'm going to give. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like the routine that is put behind this, the production, the planning, and sometimes it comes out real gimmicky. Like, we plan this out, And so here's where it gets messy. The Bible tells us how to give, and a lot of people will throw this out there. When you give alms to the poor, don't do it with a trumpet. Does that count as does that count as alms? Because alms was a certain type of giving to the poor. But in a way, because it is specifically selecting people who are normally destitute and in great need, it almost feels like an alms situation.
Absolutely.
Like, I wouldn't apply that alms text to saying we have turkeys for free at our church, or we are doing our monthly grocery giveaway, or we have shoes for the kids, because anybody can take part in that. Anybody can partake of it. It's open and broad. Alms seems to be, I know you are poor. I know you don't have anything, and I'm making a show out of giving it to you in front of everyone. Right. So we look at alms as, look at me giving somebody a quarter. But alms could also be, look at me giving somebody a car.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I know you don't have one. I know you couldn't get one. I have it to give, and I want the world to see me giving it. Yeah. But here's the tension. Some of them are doing it to counter the narrative that the church doesn't do for people what it ought to do. So we're stuck in this space of being quiet about our giving and letting that accusation seem true, because a lot of the people the church does do for. And I had this argument with a brother before who attended a mega church after he left our church, and he talked about all the things that church does. And I said, believe it or not, bro, because he hasn't been to a bunch of churches or talked to pastors around here, you'd be surprised at how much the average church does for people week in and week out. They just don't have access to a news crew. Mm-hmm. Or they just choose not to make it a very public thing. But that doesn't make their efforts to help and assist any less. You know what I mean? But I understand there's a narrative that the church doesn't do. And some who have a little more, especially because they get attacked more because they have more.
Right.
Look at the mega churches.
Right.
Look at how they got on them folk. I ain't no telling how many millions come in every month.
And that's the problem, is that so many of our Facebook friends, so many of these Facebook prophets and people who don't go to church at all will say, we don't do this and we don't do that. And the church, all they want is your money and they never give back. Well, you don't really understand or know what our benevolence offering does. You don't really understand all the people that we have to help out on a daily as well as weekly and monthly basis.
And we're trying to live by that ethic.
Absolutely.
Of not self-aggrandizing ourselves. We're trying to live by that ethic, but what we're getting is y'all ain't doing that. And let's be honest, because I am the guy. I'm one of those guys. You're there now. You'll be seen as the person at the church who has it all. Mm-hmm. You're the church that has it all. We know you got a couple members. We know that you guys at the bigger building. We know all this. And so here's the funny thing: the preacher with nothing, who couldn't start a church, as Grover would say, can't start a lawnmower, let alone a church, will attack the preacher with something, or the preachers with something, and use us as their platform.
Yep.
Of what all the phonies are doing, because we have members and resources and finances and what we should be doing and could be doing. And we live with this other tension. When something good happens through anybody, then the chorus comes usually from the world and sometimes from in the church. Two lines to this chorus. This is what the church is all about, and this is what every church should be doing.
Yep.
So if I, for some reason, have the resource, the network, the ability to give away 300 turkeys, and people see me on Facebook giving away 300 turkeys, and they know that they got a turkey from Second Baptist and Pastor Todd, they'll first say what I feel is a very dangerous statement. This is what the church is all about, which is so dangerous.
It is. It really is.
And I never forget, it's been a long growing line. I preached it for my buddy, Pastor Kevin, when he was installed as the assistant pastor at his church before he became the pastor. I said, beware of people who try to tell you what the church should be all about. Because it will always be all about the stuff that people can benefit from without, number one, giving their lives to Jesus or having any commitment to God, and secondly, having to make any investment or commitment of their own to help the church be about what they think it ought to be all about.
And can we just stick there for a second before you go to the next one? This is what the church is all about. This is what the church should be about. Here it is. Peter and John are walking. They see the man at the gate at the temple called Beautiful. What do you say? Silver and gold have we not, but such as I do have, I give unto you freely.
Right.
He challenged his limitations. This man couldn't walk. He challenged what he couldn't do. And sometimes that's all really what somebody really needs.
And that's the part that people don't want the church to do,
right,
is to challenge people to be empowered.
Exactly.
And that
to
doesn't
be
mean
on their own.
Miraculously heal people in the moment. But the assumption is that once he was raised up, he would no longer have to beg and he could go work for himself.
So what I say is, listen, he didn't give them a handout. He wanted a hand up.
One of the first sermons I ever preached.
That's it.
A handout to a handout.
Come
Preaching
on.
at St. Paul Church of God of Christ during the Sons of Thunder Fellowship. Never forget that. But you can't start a lawnmower, call Phillips Care. and Pastor Harrison is right. Bigger building has bigger bills. I want to hear from you. Talk back to us. How do you feel about churches or the displays you see where the giving is heavily promoted? And I'm talking in a way where The church gave away a car, a house. One of the things that there's a medical ministry out there where churches will do this negotiation and say that they paid down this massive amount of medical bills. Like if they put $10,000 down, this organization will help them pay off $100,000 or whatever. It's basically through like a healthcare negotiation with bill collectors and stuff. And I've actually been approached about like, would you like to do this? Would you like to be a part of it? And I think it would be a wonderful thing. But the fear is, that this is what the church is all about because we saw it happen. Then it becomes a competition and a comparison. This is what every church should be doing. And I fear that sometimes the narrative that the church, especially the black church, has a lot more on average than reality says. Because there's this 10,000 member church and this 5,000 member church, there are people out there thinking that all the 50 member churches have the same resources and they're just holding it back. You're just not doing.
Right.
These crazy memes with all this money. The church to get $8 billion, black church, $8 billion, and they're the 5th largest country in the world and all this stuff, these made up things. But I'm saying, yeah, mega churches are still the minority, and so they're able to do these things, and they're able to promote and trumpet what they do more. But it can't be because all of us aren't called to the exact same methods. And again, a church might be doing an outreach that you know nothing about, might be stepping in and paying, for kids' lunch bills at the local school and not saying a word about it. Might be, a resource that every time somebody calls the church for groceries, they might not have the monthly food giveaway like we do or another church has, but every single time they get a call for groceries, they're sending a gift card to that family and never say a word about it. But what happens is the car church gets compared to the gift card church.
Exactly.
And we have to be careful how we join that discussion.
I tell you, a lot of people don't even understand the struggles that some of these smaller churches, and I've been blessed to be on both ends of the spectrum. And so I know what it's like to want to have good church, but don't have the money to operate good church. So I understand what it's like to, go out and try to get some of the best musicians, and after service, they have to follow you. Not the church, but you
to the ATM,
to pay them.
Right.
And so we don't understand. It's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than you actually know about.
And again, I don't want to question the heart of the intent, but I just worry because I feel like everything else, social media and this attention economy we live in, works on all of us.
Absolutely.
All of us are posting how successful our services was, how blessed we were, how many people we helped, but I feel like it's gonna, if it hasn't already reached like a zenith, like there's an old saying in show business called jump the shark.
Okay.
And it comes from Happy Days.
Right.
It comes from Happy Days. So the Fonz, no, it's interesting because I'm a nerd reader, so I'll read about anything. Jump the Shark, there was an episode in Happy Days where the Fonz, the AA guy, they literally had him water skiing.
Okay.
And what they were saying is they ran out of ideas, they'd done all the gimmicks they can, and now this show is just showing the most ridiculous plot possible. Like, why would Fonz be on a ski? So they call it, there's an old show, it's called Jumping the Shark. And I feel like sometimes the church runs out of ideas, or it loses its core, or it gets pressured into feeling like everyday monotonous ministry isn't enough. I need to prove my worth as a big church. I need to keep up as a small church. I need to keep up with the action happening around us. I need to answer to the criticism. And then we do so much until after a while, we're not doing, really out of pure hearts, because I don't know how planned a pure heart can be. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know how premeditated. Talk to me, Jeff, and I want to hear from you guys. Have you ever seen, thank you, I knew somebody remembered it. Somebody watches Happy Days reruns. All right.
Monday, Tuesday.
Happy Days. Right. I didn't even like the show. I just happened to read about it one time in the TV Guide, to be honest. But I want to hear from you all. Have you ever seen something that made it feel like to you the church giving effort was actually exploiting the people or from some other intention. And I want to hear about your comments. Throw them in the comments while we're talking.
I just want to say, when I first started down here at Second, they got up, and I was just new, so I really didn't know very many people. But they got up and they talked about a young lady who, needed coats for the kids, and they needed some things for Christmas and things of that nature. And, just while he was up, I got up and I, turned to Tiffany. I said, Tiffany, I want you to cash up this young lady $200. Spur the moment. But afterwards, I had to go talk to her. And I said, I hope I didn't offend you by doing, and obviously she was very happy and very, that was but I didn't want to be offensive. And, it's almost the same thing with, having these church giveaways, and you're outside with cameras in somebody's face, we're having this church giveaway. And now you don't know, this person might not want to know,
Like, I have a policy in our food ministry, we will let you know the giveaway is happening. Let you know when to come. We'll definitely share, because we want everyone, please share. People who are in need, please share. I even put on the post, please share to people in need. Yeah, I know I'm wearing half his jacket, Scott. I got you. I need that leather joint, though. But I refuse to take pictures of people's faces, and we try to avoid that. If you go on Second Baptist page, you will not see a whole lot. I'm not saying you won't find any, but you won't see a whole lot of pictures of us. Here's a basket to a poor kid with grime on his face, and that kind of stuff. And I hate when we do that. I hate even more when churches outside of our community come into our communities and do that.
Because they are taking the pictures. They're taking the pictures and they're using us.
Kid got a whole morning slobber going outside of his face, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Brother Carroll said anytime he watched Tammy and Jim Baker, they asked for money for their ministry to help people, but it felt, for lack of a better word, greasy. Well, it turned out to be very greasy.
Real greasy.
Jim was paying for them ladies.
That jet.
Yeah, right, them jets. But, here's the other thing. What about when people say, look at how Jesus fed the 5,000? Look at how he fed the 4,000. You know what point I make to that? He did it like once.
Right.
It's two accounts, 5,000 and 4,000 in the text. You know what I'm saying? Jesus did not make an everyday ministry out of extravagantly feeding people. He didn't. It's just not. And he didn't command us to do the same thing, to be honest. He didn't. We do it because we know it's good compassion.
I'm waiting for Grover to say turn water into wine.
Turn water into wine, too.
Turn water into bourbon.
Right.
Ripples.
In the Henny. But I just feel like, again, what I fear is that, number one, we're responding to criticisms as opposed to following our hearts. And secondly, we are mimicking the successes. And let's just be clear. In the social media world, likes and shares and views are king.
They are.
And nothing gets likes and shares and views than a church showing some type of extravagant compassion and generosity to a person that's in need. Nothing gets more shares than that. You know what I mean? And we got to stop pretending, man, because I know if we think about it, everybody thinks about it.
Absolutely.
You can't fool me. There's whole social media teams and strategy teams and marketing teams and just being real.
Let me just talk to that because, obviously when I was going to Second, I began reading their posts, looking at the church, seeing all that they do. And I'm like, ain't none of this on social media. I'm going down there and they're like, we're giving away this. We're having this dinner.
So they weren't sharing with the community.
We're helping build houses. We got people coming in summer and we're helping. I'm like, I don't see none of that.
Right.
I don't see. And it's great that you do it. And I'm not telling you to, take the pictures but like you said, it is king. Social media is king. People need to know what we do, not that we're trying to do it for show, but at least, the community needs to know that we're making an effort to do some things.
Sister Rose made a good point. She's our resident bean counter here at Second. She said we spend more money every year helping people outside of what is publicized on social media. And that goes back to like when I made the announcement that we got it, which I always, by the way, make clear usually whenever I can where the resources came from, like, hey, XYZ blessed us to be able to do this.
Right.
Yeah, I don't say we just miraculously prayed real hard and God dropped a bunch of frozen turkeys out the sky. If a certain organization gave us a grant or funds or supported us, we say so. But far more is done and far more frequently is done than when you see me saying I'm picking up a truck full of turkeys and I put it on Facebook. And let's be clear, I'm on Facebook because I want to get rid of these turkeys. Because ain't nothing worse. If you've never done a turkey giveaway, ask Mo about this. Ain't nothing worse than going through all this trouble to get all these food and frozen turkeys. And you sitting there 6 hours later and they starting to thaw out and stuff. And you're like, y'all, somebody come get these turkeys.
Calling people, hey, you want a free turkey? Come on,
got 4 and 5 of them in their deep freezers. And I ain't even mad because I don't want them. You know, but again, that's a logistical thing. You know, it's become the thing. And Lord knows, I think we can even back off all of that stuff because at this point, I'm worried, like, how many turkeys can one community get? For real, for real. And how many of y'all Negroes really know how to cook this turkey? Because I swear there's some folk that came, that'll burn ravioli out the can. Talk about, I'll take that turkey.
Can't make a hot bowl of nothing.
So, you know, here's a couple of things because we found this out with these extravagant church giveaways. If we are following the pattern of the world, surprising people like the Oprahs and the Ellens of the world, we also have to pay attention to the pitfalls. Because how many times have we heard stories about cars being given away, houses being given away? You can't keep the taxes up on them.
Absolutely.
You don't drive around with insurance, you know, whatever. You can't handle the upkeep. Sometimes people don't have because they can't handle.
Wow. Now that's a sermon right there, Doc.
And I pray that churches that do these big giveaways have done some vetting. We've seen it on the extreme makeover shows. We've heard about what The Price is Right. When you win that stuff on The Price is Right, we've had people from Warren that have won on some of that stuff. I know one of the families. I know Mike knows one of the families.
Gotta pay them taxes.
They had to pay them taxes, Doc, on that RV you won.
Yep.
You know, and so you got to be careful about, again, if you're following that model, you also need to take a look at the pitfalls. You know, you got to take a look at the pitfalls. I want to see what Ingram had to say. The first one, he said, I believe a sign to give is understanding the heart of the leader of the church and the consistency in which they give. It's a part of their and the church's DNA. I agree, but I also want to just put a caveat there. Because this has become so integral to church strategy and success, people can portray it as the heart of the church because it was always a founding strategy of the church.
That's good.
Because a lot of churches will launch with giveaways now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Launch.
That's
and they know that every 6 months, and the gas thing, that's one thing I've avoided is the gas thing. Not knocking anybody that's done the gas thing, but first of all,
gas too high. First of all,
gas is too high. What am I giving away?
Gas $4 and some cents.
If I do a gas giveaway, listen. If I do a gas giveaway, it's lawnmowers only.
I'm doing an old school guy. You get $20 wherever you can get
That's
with $20.
That's a moped.
Okay, you can get to Youngstown or Warren with $20. That's what you get.
But let's be careful, and let's say something else too. A lot of these extravagant giving things, sometimes they end up creating an inconvenience. They end up creating contention. You do a gas giveaway and you got people waiting in line up and down the street and you don't have enough for everybody there. People, we've seen this in our churches, tip folk off and they tell their friends to get there first. Mm-hmm. And somebody who really has a need.
Yep.
It'll cause a riot.
Will cause a riot. So it's like you got to be careful. And again, it should be the heart. And I agree with what Mike said, if it's in the heart and DNA of the pastor. But I feel like I know from discussion, I know from talking to other leaders who literally use terminology like, yeah, this will create a lot of buzz.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
There's one local pastor who said it to my face. We do this to create buzz. We do this to create buzz. And we wanted to create buzz for our church. when we started. We want to continue to create that buzz, that attention. And I don't think a lot of people understand that there is whole mechanisms. That's why those of us who are in the industry, anybody who's in the industry, you know your industry. I know my industry. I know what a cookie cutter church launch looks like now.
Right.
I see the banners coming, the social media previews. I know the slick graphics. I see it coming. I'm surprised it's not a church called the Buzz Church.
But here's the thing.
Kid just put up to the Buzz Church.
I think you said it, though. If you start it, now you got to continue to do it.
You feel pressure to
And
continue to do it.
oftentimes continuing to do it is costly.
And it's costly. And one reality I shared with a friend who was a little older than me, but I had been in the space of community church longer than he had. And he was getting the trends. He was telling me how his ministry was growing. And I said, well, by who though? And it was growing from the people that they had served. Mm-hmm. But there's a whole scripture, it's in the Bible, where they continue to follow Jesus because they want more bread.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
He's like, I ain't got no more. All I got is this sermon, doc. You know, you got to go to town and get you a taco and Cinco de Mayo. Go take care of yourself. Fish and biscuits are gone. And I told the brother, my fear for you is, as you're growing in that way, based off what you do for the community, that community will continue to come back like birds come back to wherever you keep giving bread, or the cat comes back to wherever you give the milk, the raccoon that keeps coming back to my trash can. They're going to keep coming as long as I'm giving it. But then you will become overwhelmed. Yeah. And then the dreams you have, you're trying to build a building, you're trying to expand your ministry, and that whole DNA is not in them. And yes, there's some work, there's some teaching, there's some development, there's some discipleship that can help that. But that's why I think more than ever, the church needs to pivot to empowerment over assistance. The church needs to pivot to being connected and networked to employers, to investors, to builders, to people who will put folk to work, who will teach skills.
Absolutely.
And then maybe tie your assistance to, what are you willing to do for yourself? I'll buy you work boots. I'll give you a gas card to drive to work. I'll do these things.
And also...
And yes, food. You know, all those
Absolutely.
things, as long as you're doing.
But I think also one of the things that would help is if we stop being so central purposed and say, you know what? Okay, let's have the community come together. My church, your church, 6 churches. Nobody has to get the credit. And just
that's
say,
a non-starter. Next.
I'm just saying.
Because everybody who says nobody has to get the credit.
Well, at least, okay, everybody's name is on the flyer because we're all giving away, because it doesn't have to come all from my budget.
But I'll be honest, it's still, to me, what Tiffany just said, it's still a dependency model that we're just giving. Do you know how long the list of food giveaways is in the city of Warren
I'm
right
not just
now?
talking about food, but I'm saying anything we do, I mean, let's not put the entire onus
on one
ministry.
Well, and here's the fact of the matter. Because we are unfortunately competitive, if people don't have as much, which again happens in our churches too, people who don't have as much just don't want to contribute because they either feel that their little doesn't matter, or they feel that the people that have much already have it handled.
Yeah.
And we have the same dynamics between churches. Even when you say we're coming together as brothers, let's be honest, churches do the same thing that sinners do. You know how sinners come up to you and say, I bet y'all judging me for what I got on. And you ain't thinking nothing about what they got on. Leaders in churches will say things like, I bet you don't respect me because I'm not coming to the table with $1,000 like you are. And I'm like, no, I appreciate your $100. We weren't thinking about comparing these amounts until you brought it up.
Right.
Or you stay away and just bring it up to yourself because that's how you feel. I'm not going to apologize that our ministry is where it's at because this ministry was where it was at before I ever got here.
Right.
Truth be told. I grew up in a small church while Second Baptist was the big church. So it was what it was. But here I am, so I want to partner with you and help you. But I'm just saying that we have to be wary of the things that we portray to the world. And honestly, sometimes the world is twisted and will celebrate and sort of create a cycle of affirmation because they don't know the scriptures and the model of the church. So all they know is what they like to see. And because we're getting a lot of attention from them, getting what they want to see, because let's just be clear here. The world would be just fine if we never talked about Jesus, never held people accountable for sin, never even worried about living right, and just gave away everything we had. We'd be the perfect church for the world.
And some churches do. Some churches are
so
that
you got to
church.
be careful saying, look at how many people admired what I did. There's a reason they admire what you do, but they don't care about what you believe.
That's right.
Even when you try to, I mean, come on, we are not the church of old. We're not. I don't care what nobody says. Judgmentalism still exists. You know, there's still a heaven and a hell you're going to and all that stuff. But we are not the church of old. Pastors like you and I are falling over backwards, breaking our backs, trying to come off as gracious and understanding and non-judgmental as possible. And a whole lot of folk that'll take our bread still don't want our Bible. We could go out of our way to not preach on certain sins. We can go out of our way to not put people down for the things that they heard about when they were young. We can go out of our way to not mention homosexuality and go out of our way to not talk about single mothers and teenage pregnancy and all that stuff. We can go out of our way to say it doesn't matter how you wear your clothes and just come as you are. We can do all of that, and it will not matter to people who don't want God.
That's right.
So we have to be careful that that's not who we're taking our cues from. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where they're at. We want them to be saved. We want them to be right. But that's where they're at right now. And the same stuff we talk about marriage and we keep advising women and men to why give away the milk when the cow is free and all that stuff. We need to think about that as a church.
Wow.
We need to start thinking about that as a ministry. There's a reason Jesus held some stuff back.
Absolutely.
He could have fed them folk every day. Every day. He could have dropped filet mignon from the sky on Israelites instead of manna from heaven if he wanted to. But he chose not to.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's like we have to recapture that, I believe, fully. Do what God leads you to do. I know what it's like to do the spontaneous offering. When my buddy came and preached for me and he was in the middle of his master's degree, I just wanted to do a quick offering for him.
Yeah.
We had a family have a devastating event in their life. Do a quick offering. Nothing wrong with that. I think we should do those things. But I should do them because my heart feels them, not because I want to see views when this is over.
Right.
And what you said earlier, I want to mention what you said earlier. I want to get back to what about when people get online and talk about what you did if you don't? That's fine. If the people speak to what the church did.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that the person who got a car from that pastor is going to let the world know their church and the pastor they love bless them.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a crying selfie video. Look at this, y'all. Look at what Pastor Johnson did for me. You know, and if they don't, you got to be okay with that too.
And when they get done, they're going to put on Tupac.
They're gonna
right around
They're going to put on that Kendrick Lamar Drake diss record.
Go pick up that boy that they ain't married to.
Right. Fogging up the windows, smoking.
But you are absolutely right. Jesus cursed the fig tree because there was leaves but no fruit.
Right.
When the fruit should come first. And I think that word should always come first.
Right.
And we should have word-driven churches outside of the giveaways and outside of all that stuff. If we're not doing what Jesus mandated us to do, which is give the word, preach the word in season, out of season, then all these giveaways, all the stuff that we're doing, every gimmick we're giving is not doing any justice.
And this bothers people because they could probably make this argument about other things as well. But one of my answers is often, this is not modeled in the New Testament church. The New Testament church takes care of the widows and the destitute.
Absolutely.
Amongst their own first. Mm-hmm. And even then, there's a scripture in there that says, let the widow depend on their own family first. If you got grown children and you're a widow, if you got family members with money and you're a widow, the curse is on the family if the widow has to go to the church first. Nobody reads that part of the text.
That's it.
So we got grown children talking about how come the church ain't helping my mama? How come you ain't helping your mama? You know what I mean? I was like, why would you even watch Strangers? I don't care what kind of body of Christ you're part of. Why should you even watch Strangers? That's a whole other story. But what I wanted to get back to was if they celebrate you, but we also have to be satisfied. And again, every small local church has had to live with this, and I'm sure the largest one do too. Lots of people will never tell the story of what was done for them to keep their lights on, to keep their water flowing, to keep their kids clothed and fed. And we still do. We still give. We still help as we can. You know,
we've made some adjustments. We try to tell them, you know, you need to come to some type of
man, I got a whole budget for him now, Doc.
budget classes and
If
things
I'm
of that
giving you a
nature.
car, man, we are going to B&B together. I'm checking them fines, checking them fees, all that stuff. But I mean, again, I want every church to do as God leads you. But I think we should pull back from creating these expectations. I've thought about it. I've thought about people in my members like, man, wouldn't it be awesome if we just bless this person with $5,000? Wouldn't it be great if I found a way if somebody had a used car, you know, we could just take care of them. But what if there's 5 other people in the room? And I know we're trusting that God will make a way for everybody. I get it. Maybe he does. But I just feel like we have to be careful not to make patterns out of things that are not God's mandate for the church. And if we're going to do it out of our heart and just live with the results. A lot of folk are not going to get saved because I gave away stuff. And if that's why they got saved, ain't a great reason to get saved. Because you can't take stuff to heaven. You know what I'm saying?
And just be honest. And the truth of the matter is, it's a whole lot of people in our congregation with $1 million smiles and a $5 budget.
Mm-hmm.
They look good. They come to church dressed to the T and go home and their lights is out. So we don't know.
We don't always know
who is going through,
and won't know. You know what I mean? We won't know. We want
especially, particularly in the black community. Let's just be honest, because the black community will put on.
We will put on.
We will put on.
I mean, if I didn't say something, people. There have been times, just the other week when I got a little fender bender, you know, like me and the wife down to one car, da. First of all, I won't say something because we're like, take my car. You know what I mean? People will just be over. And the thing that bothers me is you might not have done that for your brother or sister who is in the same dynamic, but you've fallen over yourself to do it for the pastor. And I'm not that I wouldn't appreciate the gesture, but I'm like, but you got somebody else walking too and won't even give them a ride.
Right.
You won't even give another brother or sister a ride to church, but you are falling over yourself to give your pastor your car. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, back off of that.
It's like, best take my car. I ain't got to go to work this weekend. I'm going to get fired so you can have my car.
Gimmick giving. Any final thoughts, Mike? What do you think about the subject? Have you seen any examples? Have you seen any videos out there of big gives?
I just want to clear the record. Oprah did not buy them cars to give them away. They were sponsored by the manufacturer.
They were sponsored by the manufacturer. That's correct. And them folk were stuck with them taxes. Yeah, they had to claim that as a donation. Anybody with any final comments? Any final comments, Pastor Jeff? Any of you watching want to share a few last thoughts? We're getting ready to get out of here, get home. What's happening?
I want to share that Pastor Todd and I are taking any donations you want to give right now. Mike will put up our cash apps before we close out.
I'm taking private jets, helicopters, speedboats. I'm saying I want to be extravagantly blessed.
My mortgage ain't no joke, so please give as you should.
You want to build me a house, Doc? Where them foolish saints at? I need some of y'all foolish saints to bless your pastor with a house. No, man, I mean, do what you want to do, man, but I hope you do it with the right spirit. That's all I can say. Do it with the right spirit, man. You know, we're going to do our turkeys. We're going to do our giveaways, man, but I'm cool on it, to be honest. I'm cool on it. I'd rather do this work program we're doing.
Stop giving these kids all this stuff for school. They don't even take it no more.
Can't even read.
No. My son ain't took a book bag to school all year.
Man, I got like 5 book bags.
What is you? How is you on a national honor? I ain't seen you do a bit of homework yet.
Right. Buzz Church will be donating to Pastor Todd and Pastor Jeff. Buzz Church. I love it. Hey, y'all, thank you for watching. Oh, there's no line item in the budget. I demand a meeting. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching, man. I think it was a good episode. Appreciate you guys tuning in, giving your insight, giving your thoughts. Much love to everybody doing anything good for anybody. Continue to follow Religiously Incorrect on all of your platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. all of our audio platforms. Our episodes go up. Be sure to like, to share, and to reshare, and to reshare, and to reshare. And we'll continue to bring you more fire episodes in the future. Until next time.
Brother Bynum, we'll see you this week.
We'll
Thank
see
you
this
so
week,
much.
Brother
We'll see you this
Bynum.
week. Can't wait to see you.
I'll jump the shark next time, y'all. Peace out.